8-3 record this year and a 2.51 ERA. It's exactly who Tricia Ford wants in the circle when you're going for a series win on Sunday.
Yeah, no better time to bring in your ace to game 3. A lot of people probably questioning where has Emily Kennedy been, and really Tricia Ford is trying to set her team up for success in the future, trying to figure out how their rotation works well together off of one another.
Works behind in the count to Vandegrift immediately.
And Kennedy, 70 plus, right? 70 and lefty. It's always a tough challenge. Very commanding, right? She's a tall frame, so that ball gets on you quick. But like I mentioned a little bit earlier, is she has to be able to control both halves of that plate. I mean, you see her already here trying to go inside to Vandegrift and not getting a few calls on the corner.
Vandegrift tried the bunt. Instead, a full count now. Vandegrift 5 hits already this weekend in College Station, but lifted to left here. Exactly what the Aggies would like. A ball in the air, a lazy fly ball. Kramer Echte handled that one. A&M defensively, Echte, Enright, and Vrajel in the outfield. Powell and Woolley the left side of the infield. Harper and Perez on the right side. And Olivia Johnson, the Washington transfer, catches Emily Kennedy today. One out, Larissa Pruitt to the plate.
Yeah, a little bit of a change there for Texas A&M defense. Mari Harper, who we've seen pretty much all around the field this season, had starts in right, has starts at first. Now getting herself a start at second base. Says a lot about the depth that this A&M team has, and really a similar story for Alabama. We've seen quite a few outfielders for them as well. A lot of depth on both of these rosters, able to mix and match.
For the second straight hitter, Kennedy has worked behind 3-0. Came back to get the count full against Vandegrift, then it got her to fly out. Can she work back into it against Larissa Pruitt? Fires a strike to make it 3-1.
And you'd think, 3-0 back-to-back hitters, is something wrong, but honestly, Kennedy is making really good pitches on the inner half with that backdoor curve.
Got another fly ball on a 3-ball count. This one into the glove of Allie Enright.
The maturity from Emily Kennedy to get to a 3-0 count, 2 hitters in a row, and still come out on top, getting those outs. And we saw yesterday Alabama jumped on A&M very quickly in the first inning. Vandegrift leading that charge, but Kennedy shutting them down here in the first.
Yeah, she's enough of a veteran to not panic too much being behind the count.
And I mean, that goes to show how much maturity really does play a part in this game. That could easily happen to a freshman and things get out of control, but you learn so much as you go along. You learn how to not freak yourself out on the mound and think about it too hard. That's why she's such a valuable asset to this team, not just the talent, but also in between the ears.
Callie Hevlin at the plate, that's inside, 2 balls and a strike. So 3-1. A 3-ball count to all of the first 3 Bama hitters. But nonetheless, Emily Kennedy trying to work 1, 2, 3 through the order in the top of the first. Callie Hevlin tries to work her way aboard with 2 down, reached out for that, and now you have a full count on the foul ball.
Go ahead. I'm number 3, right here.
Might stay in play, and overrunning it on the track in foul territory is Frankie Vrajel. made a hard charge for it in foul ground, and I think on that dirt track was having a tough time stopping herself.
Yeah, she had to run a long way for that one. It's tough to find the wall, find the ball.
So Hovland had that foul ball drop, and she does work her way aboard with 2 outs. And that'll bring Brooke Elistad to the plate.
Let's go him.
So 1 on, 2 out for the Crimson Tide in the top of the first. It's 5-4 A&M on Friday night. 2-1. The Tide jumped back at the Aggies yesterday. Way up and out. 1 ball, 1 strike to Elistad. Lifted to center field, and Allie Enright over for it to make the catch. 3 flyouts around a walk in that top of the first. Now the Aggies due up.
Really tough for a hitter to determine where that ball is going to end at, especially when you're spreading the zone both ways, and she throws both at such an elite level.
It's Kennedy Powell that leads off. And we talked about Bama's leadoff hitter in Audrey Vandegrift, how she becomes a problem once she's on base. Kennedy Powell, the same thing. If she gets on base, she has been good on her last 20 steal attempts.
Yeah, she's also hitting .462 in conference play, so she has been seeing the ball well as of late, and especially when it really counts.
Lays down that bunt, got to be quick with it. Brooke Elstad, and leaning over and injured now, covering over at first base. That is Callie Hovland. Made an excellent play to reach over and make the play at first base on the throw, but then hit the infield dirt and stays down as the training staff checks on her.
Yeah, that's a really fast developing play. Kennedy Powell moves well down the line, lays down that bunt, and Elistad knows she has to hurry to get rid of that ball. And Hovland coming across, it's always a difficult play to make as a second baseman, because you have to read the hands and you have to basically beat the runner to first base and be ready for that throw. Of course, it was a little bit offline. She had to stretch, and that made that left foot reach out a little bit more over the base. And you know, this is my petition for a safety bag. I think the sport of softball should 100% have a safety bag in every single game that is played. I think types of plays like these are avoidable when that safety bag is in play.
Yeah, that different colored bag that goes into foul territory for the runner. Hovland is up now, obviously she's gonna try to walk this off, but
we will see a challenge.
so the Aggies have challenged this. So another part of it, as you look at the Alabama defense, it was Brooke Elstad that at third base who fielded that bunt and made the throw to Hovland covering. It was the first baseman Dukeshire that charged in, so Hovland had to rotate over and cover. So you have a great play by Hovland just to retrieve the ball at first to make the out. Then she's injured, had to be checked on. Now we have to check on a replay. But I think when Kennedy Powell stepped on Hovland's foot, it caused the foot of Hovland to make contact with the bag. So I think, and you can decide for yourself, Tori, I think the out call is going to be upheld.
Yeah, you see the foot coming across. It comes off, you're right, and I think Kennedy Powell, of course, trying to get to the base. I don't know if she steps on it, but stepping on. Yeah, that's a good call there. That's exactly what I expected to happen. I think maybe if Hovland's foot wasn't in front of the base, it might have been quicker, but it didn't look like Powell was even able to touch the base because of Hovland's foot being there. But nonetheless, phenomenal play, being able to hang on to that ball.
So that was an Aggie challenge. They're -1 for the rest of the game. Amari Harper right away.
But hey, you'll take a free pass. Exactly the opposite of what Brisky's trying to do, limit those free passes.
Maya Perez fouled away. Perez 2 for 5 this weekend with a big Friday night home run. A&M had to come back and win it Friday, the series opener, and they did it with Perez and Mac Barbara home runs to overtake the tie.
Yeah, Mac Barbara, that was her first home run since February. So those power numbers, not quite as high as they've been in the past in her tenure at San Diego State. But Maya Perez needed that protection and was able to get it on Friday night.
Perez a couple of foul balls, and then this pitch will miss outside, so 1-2. In the dirt, that's a nice block by Marley Giles.
But shows up there in a big way. At the end of the day, hitters hit, and Maya Perez did just that.
Up and in. So Amari Harper running at first base. She was hit by a pitch. Another one fouled away off the bat of Maya Perez.
Let's go, Maya. You're seeing her now.
Perez for the season has the highest average of any Aggie at 403. That's inside. That got to the backstop. It's not going to matter because Perez will take her base anyway, but it's back-to-back.
It
Opposite
was
way foul ball on the first pitch.
honestly off the bat. I didn't know if it was going to get out of here. Yes, it had the power, but it barely snuck over the top of the fence. 86 miles per hour.
With a glove, I still wouldn't want to get in front of that.
Yeah, I'm ducking, diving out of the way. Dip, dodge, duck, dive, and
Yeah,
dodge,
dip,
right?
dodge, duck, dive. We're going the old dodgeball movie rules at this point. Swing and a miss, 0-2.
But the key for Mac lately has really been her plate discipline, swinging at strikes. As a power hitter, people and pitchers especially are going to try to pitch you out of the zone for you to get yourself out. And that's what Mac has to try to avoid.
On an 0-2 pitch, a little low and in, so 1-2 to Mac Barbara. A&M trying to strike first here. They've got a chance in the bottom of 1. So it was 0-2, and then Brisky missed low, then up high, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Inside, it was 0-2, now it's gone full.
Now Brisky really struggling to establish that inner half with that drop to the lefties, and A&M has 7 out of 9 hitters who are left-handed. Have to be smart on that inside pitch.
Stays alive, hard cut, stick with a full count. The next home run that Mac Barbara hits is the 50th of her college career that spans her time at San Diego State and A&M.
I think the key for her is not trying to hit the home runs, right? She's got a ton of power. She has to realize that the pitchers are providing that pop for her. Just stay smooth, find a barrel.
Chopped right side. Heflin will make the play. So there's 2 outs, and both A&M runners move up a bag. Harper to third, Perez to second.
Of course, not your favorite result as a hitter, but situational hitting you get a plus, right? Moving those runners over. Now you've got 2 in scoring position.
Coco Woolley just goes foul off the third base line.
Yeah, Woolley, we're used to seeing, if you watch A&M softball, you know that she normally hits leadoff, right? Hits in that top spot, followed by Kennedy Powell. Trisha Ford switching it up a little bit, adding some speed to the lower half of the lineup. Not to mention Coco Woolley yesterday, really all weekend, has been hitting the ball on the nose, just right at people. Shown really good barrel control. She's done a little bit of it all. Some soft slaps, chop slaps, some swing away, stand in and swing it.
That's not going to be an easy play. You're not going to get Woolley when the ball's chopped that high out in front of home plate. And on all of that, if you see a ball chopped that high,
immediate
and if
safe.
you're the Alabama defense, you know this is a problem with Coco Woolley, the runner out of the box. 0-1 to Allie Enright, swinging, and that is popped right over to Abby Dukeshire at first base. That will end the inning, but the Aggies will break the scoring seal, and they'll take a 1-0 lead into the second. Patrick Murphy, 27th season in Tuscaloosa, and how about that? In 26 years, 15 of them, they've made it to the Women's College World Series. I don't do math that well, but I know that's a pretty good percentage he's hit on as far as making it to Oklahoma City.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Alabama has really been the gold standard. The last few years have, I mean, technically people have thought they were a down year, but to me, I'm like, you're considering it a down year and they're still making it to the World Series. That's got to say something about the way the program is run, the level of commitment that you bring to the field and to each other each day, to know, like, even in our worst days, quote unquote worst days, we can still win.
As solid a program as you will find across the country. Alex Papillo pops out, start the top of the second. That was into the glove of Amari Harper. And it's Caitlin Riley to the plate. Riley got the win in the circle yesterday for the Tide.
And the solo home run to take the lead, which would eventually give them the win. A big day for Riley here in College Station.
That's helping yourself out.
Right.
Break the tie, give yourself the pitching win. They call that a pretty nice little Saturday.
Something like that.
Which means we've gone from dodgeball to old school in 2 innings at this point on Sunday. Opposite field, hit that pretty well. Going back, not going to get there is Frankie Vrajel. It one-hops the wall. Double with 1 out for Caitlin Riley.
Picking up right where she left off yesterday. Love that she took the inner half and knew that this pitch is what she was looking for. That curve comes right back over the plate. And she doesn't try to pull off, right? She goes with the ball, has great extension towards the right side of the field. Frankie Vrajel playing that off the wall. Thought Riley was going to think about third for a second there.
I was kind of in that mode too. It looked like she was charging hard towards second and gave a thought to trying to make that a triple.
But hey, you might need her in the circle, so you can't get too wild.
Swing and a miss by Abby Dukeshire. 1-1 count. So the Aggies get a run in the bottom of the first. Bama with the double by Riley has a chance to even things up. Straight behind home plate, and there's room for Olivia Johnson. Murphy. That was laced by Marley Giles. throw across from Kennedy Powell, and Emily Kennedy will work around a one-out double to keep the Crimson Tide off the scoreboard. Trisha Ford came to Texas A&M from Arizona State, third year at the helm of the Aggie program. In March, or earlier this month, got her 500th career win. She also already has 100 as the Aggies head coach, and it's basically barely over 2 years in she got that 100th at the helm of the A&M program. That feels really quick to get to that mark, but that kind of shows you what she's done here at A&M.
Yeah, I think she's done a great job at coming in and wasting no time, setting the standard of what she wants this program and what she wants her players to be like. And I think they've adopted that blue-collar mentality, the work's never done.
Olivia Johnson, chopper at Salem Hawkins, 1 out. But we got to see Coach Ford before the game today, and I thought she said something that was great, and you kind of alluded to it when we came on the air. She said Sundays are hard. I mean, think about this weekend. A&M and Alabama, they duked it out in a one-run game Friday night. You had to come back and do it all over again. Each team gets a game. These SEC weekends, I mean, they're kind of exhausting when you go against prime competition, 2 straight games. Then you got to figure it out on Sunday. I mean, you can be fatigued, but you're deciding the series. You got to come up with something within you each and every Sunday in these conference series if you're going to figure out a way to win the weekend, so to speak.
Yeah, and no matter who you're playing, too, right? It can be anybody in the SEC. You are going to get a well-fought series. Normally, we say sweeps aren't that common in the SEC. Of course, last week, a ton of sweeps happening across the league, but most of the time, you're going to see a 2-1 score, a 1-2 score, right? It's going to be very close-fought games because the level of softball that you're playing, even when it's not somebody's best, they're still going to show up and give you a fight.
Frankie Vrajel, that's a nice play by Salem Hawkins. She makes 2 plays to start this inning. A couple of 6-3 bounce outs, and Alabama, you know, you can erase a lot of errors when you make double plays.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's kind of feast or famine with that defense, isn't it?
Yeah, and that was really the storyline coming into this weekend. Really, SEC in general is, can their defense show up when it matters, and can the pitchers limit the free passes? And you can always flip that and think, okay, well, you know, if Brisky walks a batter, then that gives us the opportunity to turn a double play. So sometimes I think it does go in their favor, but no pitcher wants to give up free passes. Brisky has had a little bit of trouble with that this season. She's got 42 overall so far. Definitely a very high number for only being this far into season, but this looked pretty sharp today, other than the hit by pitch and walk in the first.
Kramer Eshte called strike. Much of the Davis Diamond crowd disagrees, but yes, they are biased. And that's chopped at Brooke Elstad. 3 ground balls to the left side of the infield, and the bottom of the second goes by for the Aggies. 1-0 when they were out there in scoring position proved difficult. Most quickly 1 out this inning.
And I think,
the bat of Salem Hawkins.
Yeah, I think the big number that sticks out to me about that recap is only the 1 walk for Alabama pitching staff, right? We talked about needing to control the free passes and the defense, and both facets showed up yesterday.
Well, the A&M got their run in the first inning yesterday, and Bama held them off the board the rest of the way. It was actually 1-1 after an inning yesterday. And then everything was hard to come by offensively the remainder of the evening. So the difficult to deal with Audrey Vandegrift at the plate. Earlier, Kennedy got Vandegrift to fly out to left field after she had gone 3 balls, no strikes to her. And it's the same here, 3 balls, no strikes. Now that previous at bat, Kennedy worked it back to a full count before getting the fly out by Vandegrift. And she's going to have to work back into it here. That's a called strike, even though it got away from the catcher, Olivia.
Power that you got to be concerned with. Very dangerous player if you can do both. Lay down a bunt and then smack a home run. It's like, where do I play her? What am I supposed to do on defense?
Go ahead, shoot her down.
So same as her first plate appearance. It was 3-0, now it's full. And now the walk, so you have to deal with Audrey Vandegrift on base. Emily Kennedy, the first time through the Alabama lineup, was excellent. She did walk a hitter, did allow a hit, but pretty much held the Bama bats down. But second time through the lineup here, issues a walk to Vandegrift.
Go ahead, let me play that.
Vandegrift off and running right away. That's a nice throw from behind home plate. Olivia Johnson got her.
Ag there by Coco Woolley. That is a perfect throw. You always hear as a defense, right? Make the tag.
And I'll say this, I don't know why you challenge that. It's a clear out call. Now maybe it's out
After
of
review, the ruling on the field is upheld. The runner is out at second base. That is Alabama's first challenge of the game.
Do you think maybe it's out of shock that Vandegrift was thrown out? I mean, is Patrick Murphy saying, no way she's thrown out? I
do
gotta
think,
check on this.
Yeah, I do think that's a little bit of it, because watching that play, it was like, oh, wow, that was a perfect throw, perfect tag, she's out. But you have to at least try, right? But
just the fourth time she's thrown out this year in 44 attempts. That is a big one for the Aggies. All of a sudden, it's 2 out, nobody on. Larissa Pruitt stepping to the plate.
it's got to give Olivia Johnson a lot of confidence behind the plate, too, knowing that she just threw out one of the fastest runners, not in just the SEC, but probably the nation as well.
And then a nice pitch by Emily Kennedy that Larissa Pruitt was well out in front of, and it creates a 1-2 count. Pruitt, back in the first inning, flew out to center field somewhat deep, shy of the warning track. Reached out enough to get that off the end of the bat and stay alive. Backing up in right field to the track, and that's over the wall. Larissa Pruitt leaves the yard and ties the game at 1. Pruitt's second homer of the year.
Alabama was looking for a response, and they get one right here from Larissa Pruitt. And if Vandegrift is either safe on that play or doesn't decide to steal, I know she has the green light always, but sometimes it's not always your best interest to steal.
Yeah, kind of mark down how big that play is. Olivia Johnson throwing out Vandegrift, but Bama gets and one-run games Friday and Saturday, and now you have dueling today. Emily Kennedy and Jocelyn Brisky. Yesterday, A&M had Sydney Lessentine and Grace Sparks going.
Yeah, A&M really utilizing that staff mentality. First time we've seen Kennedy is today in this game, and Brisky, we've seen her all 3 games. So Alabama, though, no stranger to the rotation. That's a pattern that they've been using quite often this season. You know, Brisky getting 3-4 innings, and then going to Riley or Winstead, and then having a closer come in, more of that baseball mentality.
To start the bottom of the 3rd for A&M, it's the top of the order. Kennedy Powell tried to bunt her way on her first time to the plate. She was thrown out by Brooke Elstad. She bunted it toward 3rd base. Opposite field, pretty well struck. That got off the top of the wall. A double to start the Aggie half of the third by Kennedy Powell.
Going already, a runner in scoring position here with no outs.
And now it's the red-hot Amari Harper. That double by Powell, I'll venture a guess it was about 1.5 feet from a home run out there on the left field wall. 2-0 now to Harper as that last pitch was too high. Harper scored the Aggies' run in the first inning. She was hit by a pitch and then later came home on an infield single by Coco Woolley. Count to her now, 3-0. Showed the bunt and pulled back. It's a 4-pitch walk as that was outside. So it's a double and a walk, and that begins the A&M bottom of the third with the game even at 1.
And also the ball 5 chant from the A&M fans.
You got to face Maya Perez while you also face Davis Stein. Alabama wants to talk in the circle. This is one of those players-only meetings. The infield of the battery.
It looks like Marley Giles taking control of that meeting. She is one of the team captains this year. Can't see it because of her gear, but she is sporting that C on the front of her chest.
You can see some of it.
Yeah, a little bit. Get a little peek.
You get a little bit of
Give
it.
her cred.
That's right. Maya Perez. First pitch, a call strike. Perez walked in the first inning.
Come on, I see it.
1-1 now on a pitch that missed inside.
Ooh, that's a pitch you want as a pitcher. Great pitch, just misses River.
Gonna go to second base to get the out. Heads up play by Abby Dukeshire. Throws over to her shortstop, Salen Hawkins, who's covering at second. Bama will get 1 out. Perez runs on the fielder's choice. Harper is the out running to second base. Powell moved to third. One out and runners on the corners. A&M will get a pinch runner into the game, and it is Scout Lovell. Here's Mac Barbara. Bama tied it in the top of the third. A&M trying to take back the lead in the bottom half. Chopped, and that may be good enough. They'll go to second to get 1, but they held up the play long enough to where Bama can't turn 2.
I've seen some really high IQ running, base running from Texas A&M. Yesterday it was Amari Harper running to first and Kennedy Powell playing in between third and home. Today we see it in between first and second, but goes to show that base running is very important in this game.
Helps put the Aggies up a run again, and Coco Woolley at the plate, now with a 1-1 count. Woolley drove home the Aggies' first run of the game back in the bottom of the front. Feeling it, and this is a big moment in the game. If Allie Enright can deliver with a hit, you could see the Aggies up 4-1. Bama trying to keep it at just 2-1 and get to the fourth, still right there in the thick of things.
Yeah, if you're in A&M, you want to keep this pressure on, especially against Jocelyn Brisky. This is the third time the Aggies have seen her this weekend, so as a hitter, right, you should be making adjustments. If I'm seeing a pitcher from the for the third time, I'm salivating, right? I'm getting excited because I know what you're throwing me. I have my plan ready. But it's one thing to have a plan, and it's another thing to execute the plan. So I think you're finally seeing A&M hitters figure Brieske out and find a way to score. Yesterday, the bats were very quiet. Pitching staff doing a great job of keeping them off balance.
Enright popped up to first base, her first time to the plate. She's 1 for 6 in the series. Can she come up with a huge swing here for the Aggies, or does Brieske come up with a big out to keep Bama right in it? A&M has taken back the lead here at the bottom of the third. Inside pitch and a swing and a miss, and Brieske has Enright down in the count.
Go, Allie. You got this.
Into center field, waiting on it and making the catch is Audrey Vandegrift. The Aggies will strand a couple, but they do get back the lead, 2-1. A&M.
It's all about the routine plays. If you can make those routine plays 9 out of 10 times, you're sitting pretty on defense. Maybe a ESPN top 10 play every once in a while, you'll take it, but not necessary for everyday defense.
And yeah, you make the routine plays, and then A&M threw in a big defensive play when Olivia Johnson threw out Audrey Vandegrift trying to steal, because that's a bit of a rarity this season. Vandegrift, we said it at the time, she's tried 44 stolen bases. She's only been thrown out 4 times.
Yeah, she set a school record, 2-5 in one game.
You said it at the time, she pretty much takes a base when she wants it. But on this occasion, Olivia Johnson didn't allow it. That's going to be tough in foul territory, and Kennedy Powell can't quite get to it. Up against the fence and then kind of turning out toward left field. Very difficult play. Almost got there, reached out, couldn't quite get it.
I'm always so impressed at how much ground she covers in foul territory. It's not like she's playing in the grass, right? She's running quite a ways.
Lifted to left, and it falls into the glove of Kramer Echte. Brooke Elstad is the first out of the top of the fourth.
Left field number 31, Alexis Papillo.
Now Emily Kennedy looks in at the left fielder, Alexis Papillo, excuse me. Call strike to start her catch.
Change up. Emily Kennedy has really tried to refine that pitch this year. Of course, throwing 70 plus. You need something to offset hitters. If not, they can just sit there and try to be smooth and get their barrel to the ball. And last year, you know, she had the change up, but it wasn't getting as many swings and misses or freezes because the spin rate wasn't as high. So they really locked in and dialed that spin rate just like that. I think she heard us talking about her no strikeouts.
But that's right. So she goes out and gets the first of the day.
Go ahead, sit her down.
Alabama's 2 hits are both of the extra base variety. Caitlin Riley, a double. Riley hits here. And an inning ago, they had a Larissa Pruitt solo home run. Backing up shallow into right field is Amari Harper, and that's a 1-2-3 inning for the Aggies and Emily Kennedy.
In line with what Alabama has been doing really all season. Brieske comes out, gets the first 3, goes to that middle relief. Winstead, more up in the zone, can throw that rise really to all quadrants. And a solid changeup as well, gonna try to keep the Aggies off balance. But I like this after Brisky, who's a heavy drop. You have to really change your approach mid-game, getting on top of that ball. You see the curve rise combo is usually tends to get above the barrel of a lot of hitters, so you'll see a lot of pop flies if you're not consciously making that effort to stay on top.
Full count to Olivia Johnson. Stick with the same count as she pulled that well foul. Johnson a ground out to shortstop back in the second inning. A&M has put the leadoff runner on once in their first 3 innings. That was 1 frame ago when Kennedy Powell led it off with a double and later came home to score. Alabama, in none of their 4 innings have they put the leadoff hitter on.
Let's go, Joe.
High in the air to left field, somewhat staying put and waiting on it. Alexis Papillo, and there's 1 out.
That is a new
Now they've
left
made the
fielder,
change
yeah,
in
for
left field.
Alabama.
It's Lauren Johnson.
The ball will find you, and it
Come
does
into
again.
the game, and it does. So Lauren Johnson in for Alexis Papillo in left field. Ripped into right off the bat of Frankie Brajo. 1 out.
Flat barrel through the zone to be able to get on plane with that rise and not drop that barrel underneath it, what we saw a lot of yesterday when Winstead was in the game.
Kramer Eshte, then after her, you go back to the top of the Aggie order. This is on the ground. That could be 2. Nice turn, but not in time at first base.
Throw instead of a backhand shovel. I think that gives her a little bit more time. Make that double play maybe a little bit closer, especially with how far away from second base she is, or was. In speed at first and second for Amari Harper, who's been hot.
Harper today has been issued free passes, hit by a pitch in the first, walked in the third. 2 for 5 in this series, and a .400 average for the season. Outside to create a 1-1 count. Harper trying to make it happen with 2 outs and add to the Aggie lead. Two balls and a strike. So a 1-run Aggie win Friday, a one-run Bama win yesterday, and we are 2-1 here today in the 4th. 2 outs, 2 on, and Amari Harper belts that to right field. It's off the wall. She stays hot. 1 will score. Here comes another that's thrown out in time. Harper drives in. Eshte and Harper has been terrific. She has not recorded an out today. She has been hit by a pitch. She's walked and just delivered that big 2 RBI double. And now with her on second base, Maya Perez at the plate and an 0-1 count.
And Will, you know, I'm looking back at my scorebook, and the thing I'm keeping track of is the free passes that come around to score. You saw Harper get hit in the first and come around to score for the first run of the game. And then again in this inning, Powell hit by a pitch, comes around to score again, and that's where you see the issues there. I mean, if you take away those 2 hit by pitches, you're looking at a 2-1 ball game. Things could be very differently, but again, those free passes coming back to bite Alabama.
Trying to get that into shallow right field, but running it down is Callie Hevlin. Aggies get 2 on the big Harper double. 4-1 A&M. Windy Sunday afternoon in College Station. We're deciding this series, and the Aggies just came up big with 2 in the bottom of the 4th, and A&M leading 4-1 going to the 5th. It's the Aggies 4 runs, 5 hits, no errors. Alabama a run, 2 hits, no errors. Talked Bama defense coming onto the air today. It's been clean for both teams. I guess A&M probably has the biggest defensive play in a rare throw out of Audrey Vandegrift trying to steal. So you go on to the 5th. Bama has some catch up to do. Abby Dukeshire will start it off at 7, 8, and 9. Due up for the Tide in the top of the 5th. And Dukeshire shallow to right field coming in to make the catch, Frankie Brajel. And here's something on Emily Kennedy, that she allowed that Pruitt home run in the 3rd and then has come back to retire every Bama hitter to the plate since then. Always key when you get that leadoff hitter too.
Yeah, that's like the gold star circle must do for a pitcher. It's usually what they're tracking, or at least going after. Retiring or a first pitch strike. Those are like the 2 most common, I think, when you're talking about pitchers and them seeing success.
Another fly ball to right field. Frankie Brajel moves over, has that one off the bat of Marley Giles.
Yeah, you'll notice we see a lot of balls to the right side of the field today, and I think that's because Emily Kennedy's speed is getting on these hitters. It's a lot tougher to get your barrel out when you're seeing 70 and you're maybe a little bit trying to protect both sides, right? If you don't have a plan and you're not going up there with a set, I'm sitting in or I'm sitting out, it's tough to protect both of those because Emily Kennedy can hit both of them so well. But that's the key for her, is to be able to establish both sides, right? If you can't get the strike on the inner half to a righty and really wrap that around their back hip, that curveball, then they're just going to sit on your outside pitch and be able to hit that hard. But today, doing a good job at mixing, and I think that's why you see so many hits going towards Frankie Brajel in right field. It's a lot tougher to get your barrel out when you're questioning yourself which side of the plate it's going to be on.
She starts off Salen Hawkins with a strike. Kennedy trying to retire the 7th Bama hitter in a row and work cleanly through the 5th. She worked around a walk in the 1st inning and a double in the 2nd inning to go scoreless through 2. It was in the 3rd inning when Bama got their run off Kennedy, the Pruitt solo homer. But as we said, since then, no Bama hitter has reached base. Center field trying to get over there, Allie Enright, and she will. It's 3 flyouts in the 5th, 2 to right, 1 to center. Emily Kennedy and the Aggies still in for strike thrown by Emily Winstead to start her count. Winstead through the 4th inning. Coming in relief for Jocelyn Brisky, who worked through the first 3 for the Tide. And that's outside, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, and I think it's also a good sign that A&M was able to immediately put up 2 runs off of Winstead, who came in yesterday and didn't give up any runs. And A&M's offense, I think, struggled a little bit. Pop-up after pop-up after pop-up, not making an adjustment. So seeing her again for the 2nd time, I think they've done well with Brisky and Winstead. Seeing them now consecutive days in making those adjustments without having to waste ABs, right? Just running yourself into outs, not making the adjustments. And today you finally see them putting those adjustments into play.
Bit of a concerning moment here for the Aggies. Mac Barbara fouled that off her ankle or shin, and Tricia Ford is out to check on her. Followed by the training staff.
To yourself, unless you're disconnected from your body out and around that ball. So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, I'm hitting the inside half of this ball. I'm taking my hands directly to the ball, thinking tight to the body instead of trying to crush it, getting out and around it, because that's the only way to hit yourself. And we know how hard Mac Barbara can hit the ball, so I understand the extra second of rest there.
I think Tricia Ford knew she needed to buy time for her power hitter. So let's go out and have a chat. She's just fine. Rip that off the wall. All right, we'll come back. Texas A&M threatening again. Leadoff runner is on in the fifth, and the Aggies are up 4-1. Caitlin Riley started yesterday for the Tide, got the win, and now she is on in relief. Patrick Murphy and the Crimson Tide, knowing that it's getting late, they're down 3 runs. They got to shut this down pretty quick if they're going to make a comeback to try to win this series. So they go to Caitlin Riley.
Yeah, I like this choice. I think Winstead was just missing a little bit too much over the plate. Trying to bring in Riley, give another look. Of course, she was the star of yesterday's game. Gets the win, the big solo home run. But you're right, they're trying to just get a momentum stop here, bringing in Riley, give the Aggies a new look.
And with Riley in, it's Coco Woolley the first to face her. Woolley 2 for 2. Infield single that got a run home in the first inning, a double in the third. Up the middle, base hit, Coco Woolley. So 3 for 3 today for...
It's a perfect way to kind of mix up some of that power. I mean, you got Perez, Barbara, and then you go back to the speed of Woolley, and then Enright and Johnson. So I think it's a perfectly placed spot in the lineup for Coco to really be able to either start innings or continue them after the big hitters are getting on.
And during the pitching change, A&M got a pinch runner in for Mac Barbara, Haley Golden, running at second base. So Golden at second, Woolley at first, nobody out. Allie Enright at the plate. A&M really trying to put Bama in a hole. If they can produce more, add to the advantage in the bottom of the fifth, showing bunt. Bunted it behind her off of one hop. 2-2. Inside pitch.
Possible to get to.
A&M will get a pinch hitter in the game. Kylie Griffin. 14 games now that Griffin will have played in. 13 of those are off the bench. She has a .286 average.
She had a big pinch hit in Auburn. First RBI pinch hit she's had this season, and in a big moment, give him some insurance.
She's hitting for Olivia Johnson. That's going to be a tough play. High chopper at third base. There is no play. They'll be loaded with Aggies with one out. But was off her bat and chopped foul toward the Aggie dugout. That got away. The run comes home. Haley Golden scores. 5-1 Aggies.
To be able to block that. Marley Giles has actually been doing a phenomenal job behind the plate, especially early in this game, blocking a lot of pitches, a ton of agility side to side. That one just gets away from her. Unfortunately, it gets them deeper in a hole. But if you're Alabama here, you just have to lock in. You've got one out, runners in scoring position, but you're at the bottom half of this lineup, and the last thing you want to do is be able to turn it over to Kennedy Powell in the leadoff spot, and then Harper, who's been seeing the ball tremendously. So Riley needs to go at Vrajel, and Eshte coming up here in the 8th and the 9th spot.
Struck well by Vrajel, but it sliced foul out in left field. So on the wild pitch, it's now Woolley at third base, Griffin at second. Reached out to stay alive, fouled that back off the net. Frankie Vrajel today 1 for 2, her last time up an inning ago, a single.
RBI time. You go, please.
Might be good enough, although coming in and a play at the plate. Tag not in time. I mean, Woolley's got speed, but that was pretty shallow center field. A good throw.
Able to leg that one out. I mean, that's a hitter's dream. I'll take all the RBIs that I can get.
Let me get it in the air anywhere. Coco could probably tag and bring it home. Push it forward. Offensive timeout. Talking to Kramer Eshte. Eshte fouled the first pitch off. It was 2-1 A&M after 3, but crooked numbers for the Aggies in the 4th and 5th have them well out in front. Eshte skies this. They got to come together, got to communicate, and it's the shortstop, Salem Hawkins, that will make the catch as she bumps into Audrey Vandegrift. 2 more big runs for the Aggies. A bit better today. But Emily Kennedy just hasn't allowed a whole lot of chances for the Crimson Tide.
Only 2 hits on the day, both of those extra base hits, but no rallies really getting started off of Emily Kennedy. Usually you see a single here, a single there, then the big hit, right? Which is what Alabama has been missing a lot of the times this season. It's that situational hitting. But today you're getting the big hits, but you're not getting the singles to get you on base, to get those big hits to mean something. If Audrey Vandegrift can get on base here, I think Alabama has a chance at getting some sort of momentum back on their side.
Well, you were talking about earlier how a couple of the free passes issued to the Aggies came home to score. Well, the one time Emily Kennedy was touched up, it was the solo home run off the bat of Larissa Pruitt. I mean, but that's the key, solo home run. Vandegrift had gotten on base just before that, but she was wiped out because she was caught stealing. And if you're Emily Kennedy, no big deal, solo home run, you just keep on pitching.
Yep, a solo home run will never hurt you. Well, I shouldn't say never, but most of the time won't hurt you. But now you've got Vandegrift on first base. We'll see if we get a little bit of deja vu from the first inning, or the third inning, I should say.
Yeah, Olivia Johnson threw her out earlier. Here is Larissa Pruitt. The home run back in the third inning, the only run of the game for the Tide.
But you also have to remember, Alabama's down 5 runs. You don't want to run yourself into an out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now it's kind of about base runners in volume, not so much where they are.
Yeah, because you can get on, but can you get the hit to get them in? That's the key.
3-0 to Larissa Pruitt. When Kennedy walked Vandegrift a moment ago, it ended a string of 7 in a row, retired. And now it's back-to-back walks. So through all that, if Alabama's going to have chances, free passes is one way to do it. Back-to-back walks. Start the 6th.
Yeah, I think you'd feel a lot worse if you didn't just put up back-to-back-to-back innings with a run put up on offense. A&M scores in the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, and now you're sitting at 6-1. I mean, you're not overly worried about these 2 runners. It would be a different ball game if, you know, it's still that 2-1 score. So Kennedy has to understand where she's at and know that those aren't going to hurt her. She's got to go after the hitters. Focus on the outs.
And she starts Callie Hevlin with a strike. Hevlin walked in the 1st, flew out to right field in the 3rd. Quickly down in the count, 0-2. Up the middle with 2 strikes. That's a base hit. The first 3 Crimson Tide hitters reach in the 6th. Bases loaded, nobody out. Trying to make this interesting again. And Brooke Elster.
The momentum, 2 leadoff walks, and then consistent Callie. That's what they've been calling her this year, having her best year yet at Alabama. Senior trying to lead the way for her team. Setting it up for Brooke Elistad.
That's at Perez. Goes home to get the out. Elistad didn't run. She's standing around home plate.
Ball. The previous play is under further review.
Okay, so after retrieving the throw home for the force out, you're saying Olivia Johnson then tagged.
No losses of .81
Elistad. That would create a double play.
Yes, because she didn't run, but she's standing right there. So it's a great angle. To me, it looked like from the other angle that it kind of like slid at almost a diagonal off the side of her foot. But this one, it looks like it hits directly on the ground. Oh yeah, see on that, okay, she probably felt that off of her foot and doesn't run, but a good job by A&M to play that out no matter what. Maya Perez to Olivia Johnson for the force at home. Olivia Johnson tagging Elistad, knowing that if it is called fair, that would be a double play, and if this call stands, it's gonna be huge for A&M.
After review, the ball was hit off the batter's foot. It is a foul ball. No balls, 1 strike. Nobody out, bases loaded.
So everybody's got to take a deep breath, get back to their spots. Runners, defenders, everybody. And still loaded with nobody out, back to action. 1-1 now to Elistad, who has flown out twice. She's 1 for 6 in this series. To right field, backing up, deep, 6th home run of the year for Brooke Elistad. This is a grand slam, and it brings the Tide within a run.
Of you. I think you're finally seeing Alabama come alive, right? It's like today, when the pitching is on, the hitting's not. Or when the hitting is on, the defense is not. The struggle has been getting all 3 facets to be clicking at the same time, and I think they're doing a good job at, even when they're down, finding a way to get some things working, right? The defense, they've made some good plays, but the hitting is where they needed to show up today, especially against the ace and Emily Kennedy. And now they put up a 5 spot in today's game. You've got to be feeling good about yourself, and still with no outs in the inning.
Fouled away, 2-2. Well, guess what? Just like Friday, just like Saturday, we've got a 1-run game on Sunday.
Pattern, coincidence, or tradition? Little A&M
With these two teams, I mean, it may be. It's what it's becoming.
You know, the saying goes, if it happens once, it's a coincidence. If it happens twice, it's a tradition.
Especially at a school like this, down here in College Station. 2-2 pitch, fouled over to the right field side. It's Lauren Johnson at the plate, hitting for Alexis Papillo.
Come on, Em, sit her down. You got this.
Johnson, it's the 19th game she's played in, most of that off the bench. Really good average. She's 9 for 20 this year. Inside and hit her. There is still nobody out in the inning, and Bama is trying to start up a new rally.
Hey, it takes what it takes. If you got to take one off of the elbow, you'll do it. Little celebration from Johnson there. Talked about Kennedy having to establish that inner half to the righties. That one getting away from her. Got to be able to lock in on the control. I think usually when Kennedy gets into trouble, it's overthrowing, throwing through that spin. Ball doesn't break as much. It's not always speed that is king, right? You have to rely on the location.
Diving effort, Kennedy Powell tries to get the lead runner at second base and can't. Sliding in is Lauren Johnson. Did all she could with it. Not in time to get Johnson.
You're leaving your feet, the out is going to be at first base. There was a play that was similar to that yesterday that was bounced up, and she was able to get the play in front of her, but on that one she's up on her feet, whereas this one she leaves her feet, has to get back up. Every step that you take as a defender is 3 steps for the runner. So you have to be aware at all times who your runner is, what the situation is, what's most important. Is it the leadoff or is it getting outs? And I think in this situation specifically, you're looking for any out that you can get.
Might be getting a pinch hitter in here for Alabama. They do have a pinch runner in Kristen White, and the hitter will be Kendall Clark. 316 average in 15 games for Clark. It's going to hit for Abby Dukeshire.
Yeah, you see Clark sporting that C. Her and Marley Giles voted captains this year. It's a big moment for her, not an everyday starter and this weekend, but getting her opportunities, able to lead in other ways. Now she's got an opportunity to lead the way offensively for Alabama. And probably the biggest moment, biggest inning of this series.
Check swing, looked like she went around. They said she didn't. Appealed over at third base on the foul ball. That may have struck Olivia Johnson behind home plate, and Kennedy Powell wants to make sure her catcher's okay.
Yeah, you saw that ball come off of Olivia Johnson, and immediately Powell sprints for the foul ball. It's the little things within a team.
Two balls, 2 strikes to Kendall Clark. Big pitch by Emily Kennedy, swinging.
And gas, 73, that clocks in, moving down and away from you. But more than anything, I think Kennedy has to really make sure she's not getting too pumped up, right, in this moment. The pressure's on. You're feeling the momentum slowly start to shift to Alabama. You can't overthrow your pitches, or else that happens.
Yeah. Hit Marley Giles, base.
Really tight, right? And it's almost like a hitter trying to get really tight and swing as hard as they can. You lose a little bit of that control. That arm has to be nice and fluid to be able to whip through that zone. Should be elbow, wrist, fingers to be able to spin that ball. And when you get tight, it kind of messes up that synchronization of that pattern. You just got to stay smooth through it, not try to overthrow. That's when that arm starts to get really tight and you lose control.
That's called a fair ball. No, foul ball. I thought for a moment third base umpire Aaron Golden was saying it may have nicked off the glove. Into right field, Bama will tie the game, and now they'll look for the lead. The Aggies get the out at third base, but Alabama, it's now a 6-run inning, and they take a 7-6. Audrey Vandegrift will hit for the second time in the 6th inning. 10th hitter to the plate. 6-1 Aggies entering the top of the 6th. It's now 7-6 Crimson Tide. This is a series that just won't quit. A&M, they were 6 outs away from claiming the series. Now you can say that about Alabama.
Yeah, it shows you how much momentum can swing back and forth in one inning. It was all A&M for quite a while, 3-4 innings. And it's taking advantage, again, of the free passes. I mean, this inning started off with 2 back-to-back walks to Vandegrift and Pruitt. And then Hevlin keeping things going with the single. Then the big swing, right? You have to be able to set up that big swing.
Left field toward the gap, on the run, making the catch, Kramer Eshte, but a 6th spot for Bama. Alabama, a new pitcher into the game. 4th pitcher of the game for the Crimson Tide, Allie Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson came in on Friday night, and almost immediately Mac Barbara made her pay. Big 2-run home run to take the lead on the 2nd pitch. But here is able to get the first out pretty quickly, and that's the key, right after a big inning, to immediately come out and retire the first hitter. Keeps the momentum a little bit on your side, but it doesn't get easier with Amari Harper coming up to the plate. Haley Johnson known for that changeup, keeping hitters off balance. You see her go to it there, but she can throw it in any count, any location you need. Bless you.
Much thanks, partner. 1-1 to Kennedy Powell. Excuse me, Amari Harper. Up the middle. Amari Harper is becoming one of the toughest outs in college softball. She hasn't been out today. She's 2 for 2, and she's also been hit by a pitch and by a Maya Perez, her day in order, a walk, fielder's choice, and a pop-up.
That ball 2 inches off the ground. Come on, Blue.
So a ball and 2 strikes. So Alabama pitching today, 3 innings from Brisky, the starter, Emily Winstead an inning, Caitlin Riley an inning, and Johnson is on here in the 6th, trying to keep Bama up a run.
Giles having a quick conversation with Johnson here, understanding who's up to bat. Maya Perez got a lot of pop in her bat, leads the team in home runs with 7. They saw that home run, 7th home run on Friday night. I think they might maybe not intentionally walking her, but unintentionally intentionally walking her. Nope, just a missed pitch. Goes right back to that changeup, trying to keep her off balance. And it's always a fine balance that you have to walk as a hitter, understanding that, you know, Johnson is a changeup pitcher, right? You know you're gonna get at least one in an AB, so you make that decision. Do I sit on it? I know I'm gonna get it, but should I sit on it?
Did she get enough of it to get it into left field? Yes, she did. 2 on.
Up and still somehow is able to fall. But that single right there could steal the momentum back for A&M. When hits like that start to fall, you almost feel like things are just going in the right direction for you. There's some games where you get all those to fall and some where you get none. And that's usually how your day ends up going.
1-0 to Mac Barbara, who's 1 for 3, singled her last time up. Call strike there.
Mac Barbara saw Johnson on Friday night, and second pitch of her outing blasted it just over right field fence. Johnson getting ahead quickly.
Two and two. High leverage stuff here in the 6th inning. Sky down the line and left field on the run, trying to make the catch on the slide. Lauren Johnson can't quite do it. Foul territory, so stick with a 2-2 count.
Mac, you got this.
Oh, you gotta have that with Mac Barbara up to the plate, knowing the damage that she can inflict in one swing. You have to have that foul ball. You cannot give her a new life.
That's why she goes into the gap. Game is tied 7-7. Barbara drives home Harper.
And you're right, that has made it happen for Texas A&M. The big hit home run on Friday night, and the single here that ties it up for Texas A&M in a very crucial later half in this game.
Bama wants to talk it over. A&M was well out in front. Bama hit the Aggies with a 6th spot in the top of the 6th to take a 1-run lead. A&M 3 straight singles. They've tied it up again. Those hits by Harper, Perez, and Barbara. And you'll get another pinch runner in the game for the Aggies. KK Dement comes in to run for Perez at second base.
Now you know how important that run is. If you can get Dement across home plate, you take the lead, and then you only have to get 3 outs when you go in the top of the 7th. This is when that home field advantage comes into play, being able to hit last, but also the chance to end it a little bit early.
A&M has out-hit Bama 11-6. But Bama has the one biggest swing of the bat today, the grand slam by Brooke Elistad an inning ago. Coco Woolley, first pitch outside.
I love the fact that Coco Woolley has expanded her toolbox since she stepped foot on campus. You know, originally started as a slapper, of course, utilizing her incredible speed. But over her time here, she's been able to add more things to her toolbox, including standing in and swinging away. Not something she did a whole lot when she first got to school. But as she's grown, so has that skill set and power as well. And now you're putting yourself in a situation where if she was only able to slap, you're thinking 60 feet. But now that you know she can swing away, I mean, she has a double in this game. It allows you to try different things and give yourself some more opportunity to push runs across.
Woolley, 3 for 3 in this game, draws a walk, bases loaded. 1 out. Patrick Murphy's out to talk with the home plate umpire, and see if he makes any kind of change. All right, 7-7. We'll be back. Bottom of the 6th. Bases loaded, 1 out. Already having thrown 3 innings today, Jocelyn Brisky is back in the game. She went through the first 3 frames. When she left, the Crimson Tide were down 2-1. Well, in some ways, this game has exploded since then.
Yeah, I think that's an understatement. But Brisky, you're right, starting pitcher threw well, I thought. But, you know, Alabama was still in this game, 2-1 at the time, and they were just really relying on that rotation that they've been going to a majority of the season. Starting pitcher throws 3 to 4 innings. The second pitcher in middle relief comes in for a few innings and then a closer, and that didn't work out today for them. And you got to figure out how to make it work when the plan doesn't go the way you thought it was. But we see Brisky coming out, her 4th appearance on the weekend. I thought the Aggies started to barrel her up pretty well. We'll see if she can get the Tide out of this jam.
First pitch to Allie Enright. That's in the dirt. Marley Giles blocked it just enough to keep it around home plate. KK Dement, the pinch runner at third base. You can tell she kind of wanted to make that break for home, but it just didn't get far enough away from home plate. 2-0 now to Allie Enright. That's inside. 3 balls, no strikes, and there's no place to put Allie Enright.
I'm taking all day. Make her bring it into your zone.
get the usual, a take sign and a strike on a 3-0. So Brisky stays in the count. That's low for a ball. It's a walk, and the Aggies take back the lead. KK Dement trots home.
A tough re-entry for Brisky. Allie Enright 0 for on the day. Not feeling herself completely, so that's a hitter I think you have to go right after if you're Brisky. Especially you give them the lead there with a walk. Again, those free passes coming to bite Alabama.
Olivia Johnson back up to the plate. Johnson's 0 for 2. She hit in the 2nd and 4th innings, and then in this spot, Kylie Griffin entered. Johnson back in. So we're trading the lead late in the game. Aggies back up a run. And now it's about insurance as you go to the 7th inning next. 3-1. Brisky has come back into the game and had trouble finding the zone. Walked in right to give up the lead. 3-1 to Johnson. Another walk, 9-7 A&M. Mac Barbara comes home.
Yeah, this is a tough break for Alabama. You put up a 6th spot to take the lead in the top of the 6th. All the momentum is on your side. But here come the Aggies, right? They make something happen. First hitter of the inning, they retire in Kennedy Powell, and then Harper once again becomes the Aggie to start the rally. But back-to-back-to-back singles, Harper, Perez, Barbara, it's gotten out of hand pretty quickly for Alabama.
A&M was down a run, now they're up 2. So Caitlin Riley will come back into the game for the 2nd time.
Grounds crew.
Everybody's feeling it at Davis Diamond. Yeah,
Did you see the fat heads that they've got down there in the bullpen? Or in the field crew gang? He's got Frankie Vragel's head on a stick.
In a good way.
Yes, of course. Her smiling roster picture.
So this inning for A&M, leadoff hitter was an out. Then it was 3 straight singles, Harper, Perez, and Barbara. Then 3 straight walks, Woolley, Enright, and Johnson. And the Aggies have taken back the lead, and they're up 9-7, and Frankie Vragel looks at the first pitch from Riley and looks at the next one, and it's 2-0.
Yeah, and it becomes important to realize that Riley was listed in the lineup as the DP, allowing her to be able to re-enter in this game. Jocelyn Brisky got the start, and then Winstead, then we saw Riley. And after she leaves, normally a pitcher would be burned, not able to be used again, but since Caitlin Riley hits and was listed in the lineup, gives her another option to be able to come in and try to get Alabama out of this 6th inning.
Chopped. Nice play to go home. A little bit of a collision at home plate on the slide, but a nice play by Elistad to flip with the glove to get the force out at the plate. Woolley slow to get up as she slid into the catcher Giles.
Texas A&M is challenging that play. Previous plays under further review.
Yeah, I'm going to challenge that. I think that's a good challenge late in this game, but I do think that Giles was able to hold her foot on, and not to mention staying on with the slide, right? You're taught to go in hard to home plate. Got some words being exchanged here between Hef, the first base umpire.
After review, the ruling on the field is upheld. Runners out at home plate with no obstruction. That is Texas A&M's second and final challenge of the game.
Pinch hitter into the game for A&M, Kelsey Mathis. So it's 2 outs, bases loaded now. After that nice defensive play by Brooke Elistad. Keeps the Aggies advantage at 2. And it'll be Bama's last chance on the other side on the top of the 7th. At the moment, the Tide chasing 2, but Mathis, if she delivers, it'll be more. But Riley has her down in the count, 0-2. Swing and a miss, got her. So Bama down 2. Last chance. Coming up, the 7th is next.
Some momentum again here in the 7th, working with their last 3 outs.
A&M will put the freshman Sydney Lessentine in the game. Threw well yesterday.
Yeah, she threw really well yesterday. She's got really great stuff. Tight spin, good late movement in the zone. Lessentine will throw a little bit of everything, but plus changeup. That's the #1 key. Really keeps hitters off balance.
Larissa Pruitt leads off the 7th.
Curve rise combo, gonna try to get some hitters to pop out. Easy fly balls.
We decide the series on this Sunday. It has been a fantastic series. It's been an exciting one in this finale. Ball strike, 2-1 to Pruitt. 2, 3, and 4 due up for the Tide in this frame, so they get the heart of the order at the plate as they try to come back once more. Went high. Hard cut by Pruitt, swing and a miss.
Tight spin makes it look like it's coming in as a strike, and then at the last second, that tight spin makes that ball jump over the barrel of Pruitt.
Crowd wanted it, didn't get it, full count.
This pitch, I think if anything, missed a little high. To me, it looked like it was honestly right over the middle of the plate.
That's going to get out of play just barely on the roof of the A&M dugout. Another full count pitch. Calling for it, Coco Woolley, 1 out.
A big first out also. Knowing that you've only got 3 to work with, getting the first runner on is crucial. A&M able to retire Pruitt. First out of the inning. Makes you feel a little bit more comfortable.
First pitch swinging here. And into the glove of Allie Enright off the bat of Callie Hevlin. Quickly 2 outs. It's a 2-1 A&M lead after 3. Then the Aggies broke it open. They were up 6-1 after 5. Alabama, a 6-run top of the 6th, led 7-6. A&M just put up 3 runs in the bottom of the 6th. Aggies up 9-7, and they look for the series with 1 more out. Here is Brooke Elistad. Her last time to the plate, you know what happened? The grand slam.
Tôi để cho ba, con đi xuống với ông. Con đi xuống với ông, tôi để của ba. Để cho ba đi nhá.
Up and in, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Con vẽ xong để xuống cho con ăn.
Foul territory. And it's 1-2. Oh, what a series it was. And it goes to A&M. The Aggies get the decider, 9-7 on Sunday.
10th ranked win for the Aggies this season. This is big after dropping game